Greetings, greetings, Rotarians. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Livermore. Thank you all for joining us today. Those of you here in person at the Robert Livermore Community Center, those of you on Zoom, always a pleasure. David Rounds, would you be willing to lead us in the pledge? Sure. All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So I always forget this part. House rules. Those of you joining us on Zoom, if you are not speaking, please mute yourself. If you are speaking, please unmute yourself. This group here, I've noticed some lapses recently, people's phones going off when we have speakers up here. Please take this opportunity to check your phones, people, come on. We've done this before, right? Come on, come on. Okay, time for songsters. Michael, Tim, what have you got for us?
Okay. I will pass this over to Tim here, and we've got Joel to come help us.
Come on, Joel.
I have to say that I've been speaking with Stu Frazier every day and doing like some, what do you call it, FaceTime thing. So he's doing fine. He's moving around a little bit. So he just wanted to say hello to everybody. He's probably out there watching for all I know.
And I'm watching, yes.
And I wish he was here to sing, because then we could have like 4-part harmonies. So we're going to do 3-part harmonies here. And I think today's meeting is about what? It's about weather. So whether you like it or not, you are my sunshine. Okay. There we go. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Look at all that gray hair out there. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Christian, do you have a thought you'd like to share with us? Come on up. Come on up.
When you think of life, the word life, many things come to mind and many different meanings and different promises. One thing that life doesn't promise is easy. It's not meant to be easy. It's only meant to be lived. Sometimes good, and other times rough, and very, very rough, like what's going on right now in Ukraine. But with every up and down, you'll learn the lessons that will make you strong. With every life's up and downs, you're gonna learn the lessons that will make you strong. That is my prayer today for the people of Ukraine as they go through the quagmire they're going through right now. That after all said and done, with their resilience, that they're gonna come out much, much better than every one of them and even the country found it when it happened that morning. And it cannot happen without all of you. So I'm going to encourage you to keep donating whenever you have the opportunity, keep giving, keep helping at Kids Against Hunger everywhere, safe way. Right now, when you're paying, they're asking you to donate. Whenever you can, please donate. Remember, this could happen to anybody in so many different ways. With that, I salute you all.
Thank you, Christian. Good stuff. So, wow, gap in our slide there. Zoom host today, Jeff Youngsma. Thank you, Jeff. See you doing duty out there on Zoom. Very much appreciated. Matt doing duty on Zoom. Matt's going to be our Spur reporter today. Matt joined our club during COVID and we haven't got a picture of him yet. We haven't seen him in person. So, members have bumped into him out in the community. Matt, thank you. Appreciate your service to our club today. Paul McCandless manning the AV desk today. Paul, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Our Zoom chat monitor in the house, Mr. David Rounds. David, thank you. And our Spur publisher this week, covering for a vacationing Don Wentz, I believe, is Kathy Coyle. So Kathy, thank you very much. Couldn't do this without your help, right? So at this time, I would like to welcome visiting Rotarians. I am scanning the room. I am not sure we've got visiting Rotarians. We've got guests. I don't see any visiting Rotarians. Let's get to the guests. We've got guests.
She's been hovering around me with this mic. Yeah, and everybody's going, don't forget. So please stand. Dennis and Amanda. We have guests today from Camp Parks. I think that they've both visited us before, and I'm glad to see you all back. So we have Amanda Vega and we have Dennis Cheney. So please welcome our guests today.
We're noticing you guys hanging around a lot.
You know, President Ken, it would be great if they could join us and become
I was thinking that too.
So I'm very excited to introduce my guests, President Ken and fellow Rotarians, because we actually have a connection I didn't even know. So this is Mr. Chuck Sokola. He's actually a visiting Rotarian from Guam.
Oh, wow.
So it's very exciting. So very excited about that. And the reason, my son is Guamanian. So, and so I was just excited. I hardly ever get to meet people. He's Chamorro, and the last name is, we say Pangilinan, but you say Pangilinan. So I just thought, okay, we are connected. So this is wonderful. So please welcome and thank you.
All right. Wow, all the way from Guam. That's awesome. That's a big trip. So, all right, welcome to town.
Wow, congratulations.
All right.
And our back table, I'm not.
You do?
It's so exciting.
Oh, so Roland.
I'm a guest as well, Roland. I'm going to go to your free wine tonight. Very excited. You guys should come too.
All right.
This is Steve Goodman. It's Bill Whalen. It's Dave Weisgerber, and they're here to preach about Livermore Recreation Department and the goodness they bring to all of us.
All right. And we'll hear more from those folks in a few minutes.
All righty.
Any visitors on Zoom? Anybody out there joining us
We just need
today?
the mic so they hear you.
Like
on
to
Zoom.
introduce themselves?
That was all.
No?
I
Okay.
am Laura Silva,
Oh, okay.
and I'm from Livermore Granada Boosters. I'll be doing a presentation today. Thank you for having me.
Great. Laura, glad to see you. Glad you could join us. We'll get to you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
I'm James Hayes from the Morning Rotary, and I am not doing a presentation today.
Well, James, you're welcome to join us anyway. Thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Any other guests? Anybody I missed? Zoom? In the house? I think, is that our speaker?
Is that our speaker?
I'm gonna hope it is. I'm gonna hope that's our speaker. Okay, so at this time, we've got a few announcements. Kathy Coyle, some stuff going on at the district?
There certainly is, President Ken. There's two things coming up. One is I really like this, the Sky's the Limit District Conference. It's at the Marriott, San Ramon Marriott, so it's really in our backyard. There's going to be a lot of different things going on. We'd like to see a few of the Rotarians from our club attend this, since it's so close. You have to drive 100 miles to get to it. But I think the very first lunch at Blackhawk, if you've never had lunch at Blackhawk Museum, it's a really nice venue. Just a pleasure to go up there and see the cars and everything else they have up at Blackhawk. So, and then there's a major donor reception right after that. So if you're a major donor in the club and you should have gotten an invitation to that, that's very nice. Registration is free to all the forums and the House of Friendship and anything else that's going on, but you need to pay for a meal. And I understand that the club may reimburse for one meal. So, you know, when I said you had to pay if you want to eat, well, the club might pay one for you. So you just have to ask. So that's number one. So there's going to be, the registration is coming up. The speakers have changed. They're not all the basketball players anymore, although still a couple. So then I was just talking about this, the Imagine Rotary District Training event. And that is on May 14th. That's at West Valley College. It's going to be very different. It's not, if you've been to district training, it's a very different format. They're blending avenues of service with membership and TRF so that you get more of a cohesive picture of what Rotary is and how your club actually fits into Rotary and how all the parts go together. So I'm really hoping we'll get some incoming board members, old board members, and anybody who's interested in learning more about how a Rotary Club and RI itself works together. That'd be great. And we're also going to do some Zoom sessions after. So thank you very much for giving me the time, Ken.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Thanks for that update. So that's, I don't know if Kathy said that too, but if you're new to the club, those events are a great way to see kind of the big picture, right? I know the local club looks awesome, but it's kind of neat to see all of the connection with the larger organization too, so.
And also, Ken, the club will pay for what, up to 5 people? Glenn, does that sound about right?
I would defer to Treasurer Glenn because I
Treasurer
don't know
Glenn?
the answer to that.
5 or more? No, at the DTA. That's one fee for everything. $50 for the DTA. For 9 people. So let's get 9 people to go, okay?
All right. Okay, well, thanks for that. So next up, membership matters. I got an email this morning that Sonia had to do grandmother duty. She's babysitting her grandkids, so she wasn't able to join us today, but she's super excited about the member mix and mingle this evening. I know Roland touched on that. That's going to be this evening, 5 o'clock, Wood Family Vineyards. Opportunity to go hang out. I've heard 5. You know, it's wine, people. You can't be too far off, right? For those of you that are super thirsty, if you get there at 4:30, I'm sure they'll try and accommodate those of you that like to show up, a little bit later, 5 o'clock. Even if you can't make it till 5:30, I bet the doors will be open. But this should be just a great opportunity to meet some Rotarians, have an opportunity to hang out, have a glass of wine. So. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, that's good information. So if you get there and you don't see people, keep looking, right? They're probably there. So at this point, Laura Silva joining us via Zoom. Laura, I understand, is the current president, and correct me if that's not correct, of the Livermore Granada Boosters. And she wants to share with us a little bit about that organization. So Laura, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Did you want me to share my screen, or you're gonna, okay, you'll go ahead and go through it?
I think we got it teed up here if that works for you. Just tell us if we need to advance.
Perfect. Well,
Okay.
thanks, Ken. As Ken mentioned, I'm Laura Silva, and I'm on the board of directors for the Livermore Granada Boosters. I'm presenting today to let you know a little bit about our organization and to see if maybe some of you might be interested in joining us at the Boosters. Rotarian Mike Morgan is also one of our boosters. He, in fact, has been a booster since 1977. He's one of our longest active board members, and he's actually embarking on his 45th year with us. So thank you for all your service, Mike. Definitely worthy of a applause. I myself became aware of the boosters when my oldest Livermore graduate was a finalist for their Boosters Olympian Scholarship. I attended a luncheon where all the finalists gave their speeches, and I just sat there amazed with all of the students and just in awe of the entire presentation. And it was from that moment that I knew that I wanted to be part of the boosters. Since 1949, our mission has been to celebrate the excellence of scholar athletes in Livermore. We accomplish this mission by promoting scholar athletic events through the year, hosting a joint rival celebration at the end of each year, and hosting a community race, the Race to the Flagpole, in January. You can go ahead and, perfect. The Livermore Granada Boosters is a volunteer-run 501c3 nonprofit that was organized in 1949 by a group of former Livermore High School alumni and civic-minded businessmen to foster and stimulate scholarship and athletics in the community's high school. This organization was based on the belief that outstanding students who are active in athletics learn leadership, sportsmanship, and competitive spirit, and become active members of the community in the future. The group established an annual banquet to celebrate excellence in local student athletes. The awards ceremony, the scholarships and awards we provide, our annual race, and our community involvement are all the realization of our vision. Today, we are still a group of community-minded volunteers who believe that outstanding students active in athletics become good citizens of the future. We've expanded our reach to celebrate more scholar athletes by publishing tens of thousands of photos per year, and we promote scholar athletic events via our website, social media, and other channels. We host an annual community celebration at the Race to the Flagpole, and our showcase event, our annual Olympian banquet, has grown to recognize athletes and coaches of Livermore and Granada High School in 52 varsity sports, as well as award $16,000 in scholarship annually. In addition, at our banquet, we announce team and Hall of Fame awards. The banquet is free to varsity coaches, varsity athletes, and Hall of Fame recipients. The Boosters established a Sports Hall of Fame in 2009 in celebration of our 60th consecutive year of honoring scholar athletes. Hall of Fame inductees are extraordinary athletes, coaches, and others who have contributed in a significant way to our community's sports history. A number of these athletes had collegiate success, went on to the Olympics, or are professionals in their sport. Inductees include world heavyweight boxing champion Max Baer and one of the greatest baseball pitchers ever, Hall of Famer Randy Johnson. And of course, as pictured, Olympian team qualifying swimmer Leah Avila and national track champion Sherry Williams. Plaques of our inductees are displayed at Buffalo Wild Wings on First Street in Livermore. The Boosters also awards a Keith Frazier Community Award. Keith was a major contributor and donor to all booster activities throughout his life. Through his leadership and vision, the Livermore Granada Boosters developed into a major organization that is completely unique to our community. And in his words, small enough to honor its past, but large enough to grasp its responsibility to honor the outstanding members of the community. In 2015, the Livermore Granada Boosters decided to honor Keith Frazier's commitment to the city of Livermore by creating an award in his name. The award is given out annually to individuals whose past athletic or community involvement has made a great impact on the community and whose devotion has made them a legacy in Livermore. You can go ahead and advance it. Wall of Fame, pictures, and social media. This is probably what we are best known for, thanks to the countless hours and dedication of Bob Bronsden and Adam J. Clark, our very own in-house photographers. In addition to creating all of our awards, Bob and Adam attend nearly all sporting events, plays, performances, award ceremonies, and really anything of interest that happens in our community. Bob has also created our Wall of Fame, proudly displayed along all of his work on our website. You can also see their work at the district office, Buffalo Wild Wings, the Ale House, and posted all over Facebook and Instagram. Livermore Granada Booster Board members and associate members do as much or as little as we like to help our organization be the best it can be. Some of us love to take pictures, some of us love to organize, some of us like to be front and center, while others of us like to work in the background. All of us have a passion for helping our community, and all of us love being around these amazing high school athletes. If you'd like to get involved or you know someone who would, please let one of us know. It's really not a big time commitment, but the personal reward is immeasurable. The Livermore Granada Boosters recently had the honor of being a Rotary grant recipient, so thank you so much for all of your support. If you're a local business or an active member of the community and you want to help sponsor our Race to the Flagpole or the other events or programs, please contact us. Your sponsorship benefits our scholar athletes and provides you exposure within our great city. So this town, just like the Rotary, the Livermore Granada Boosters was established in the 1940s by people in our community who want to make a difference. And just like the Rotary, we continue to make a difference. Livermore is very unique. We're a city with 2 high schools who maintain a friendly rivalry that the entire town gets behind. What we do at Livermore Granada Boosters is also very unique. We support both schools and all of our amazing athletes citywide. A recent addition to our board of directors said that we are the best kept secret in town. Today, we're asking for you to help us be less of a secret. Please consider joining our board, making a donation, or supporting our organization in some other way. If you have any questions after the meeting today, or you wish to maybe attend one of our meetings, you can let Mike know or reach out to me via our website. Thank you so much for letting me speak today.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Mike, yes, you can add one thing.
Laura is just one example of the people that work very diligently in Livermore Granada Boosters. Chuck and Steve Goodman and other members of our organization have worked for many years with Livermore Granada Boosters. And when you go to that banquet and you see all varsity athletes for both high schools are invited free of charge. We have tri-tip steak dinners and chicken, and it's all done very well. And they are just so enthused, and they're so excited about anticipating the award winners, the finalists and the winners of the Olympian Award, that it is extremely gratifying, and it just makes you proud of what our high school student athletes can do. And we've been doing that since 1949. Now, I wasn't a member since 49, but since 77. So thank you, Ken.
All right. Thank you, Mike. So another good local organization doing good things with the youth in our community. So nice to be able to spread the word. So Sheila,
Yes.
you have something you'd like to share with us too, right?
Yes. You know, on that, Mike, my dad was he was a senior in Livermore High in 1948. And interestingly enough, he lettered in all the different sports. And he was in class with Francisco, Jim Kincannon, all those gentlemen. And so I guess they were a little early to by 1 year. But I'm very proud of that, as well as for my whole family. My grandfather was born here in 1886. My dad was born here in 29. And so my family has been part of this community for many, many years. And with that said, our schools have been a very important part of my growing up, and I've always been very, very fond of the schools. Actually went to a one-room school in Livermore, which probably not many people have, except maybe my parents and grandparents, but just very, very unique. And I'm very proud of that. And the one thing that I continue to be proud of is what we offer to our students in this community. And Measure A is one of those things that helps us give our kids, grandkids, that extra boost to be able to have the tools to be leaders in our community tomorrow and beyond. So Measure A is just going to be continuing, which I didn't know all the details, the Measure G, and enabling us to keep those science teachers and keep those programs going. So on your tables, there's some information, and I probably could actually say that all of you are aware of Measure A and what it brings to the table for our community. There's one on there that if you'd like to make a donation or just have your name on a list, or you would like a yard sign. Kelly's here, and I bet you Kelly could probably get us some yard signs if anybody is interested in that. But I think first and foremost for me, it's important to help our schools, help our kids to be the best they can be. And the only way we can do that, unfortunately, at this day and age, is funding to provide all those necessary things. Hopefully the flyer on your table has the answers that you need. And if not, I think there's some emails on there that you can actually communicate with them if you have any more questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Any? Sounds like you a well-informed group, President Ken. Anyway, again, I want to thank you, each and every one. Oh, yes, sir. Yes. Correct. So on that flyer, it basically the money stays here. The funds will never be used for administrative fees or any kind of salaries. And there is, as anything else, there's an independent board that manages that. And as far as I know, seniors can still, if you are a resident in Livermore and you've paid your dues, you can pick up a form and be an opt out of that tax.
Hello? Hello?
Are you not hearing me?
Yeah, they're probably not hearing the questions.
Oh,
Here, I have a question.
Hang on, Hank. We'll get to you in just a second.
Okay.
So just maybe repeat the question.
Okay.
Just so that folks on Zoom can hear.
So TJ asked a question if it's for capital improvements, that the money would go toward capital improvements, was the question. Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Yeah. And the answer was no on that. No. It's just for programs to keep the teachers, because actually when Measure G ends, 27, I think, is the number of teachers and other programs that would stop to exist in our school. And I know for my son growing up, science was his thing. He got distracted easily, just like his mom, a little squirrel. But that science, that science kept him focused. Go ahead. Did you have a question? Hank. Yes, sir.
Okay. For those Zoomers, could you send the pamphlets to us, please?
Yes. You know what? I think we could email those. Okay.
We'll hide them in a rock in your front yard.
I'll send one of my squirrels over. Okay.
Great, great.
I don't know if any of you heard that, but Craig Bueno is actually on Zoom, and he could probably enlighten us even more. Craig, do you want to answer any questions here or finish up or follow up with what I said, sir?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Everyone, I apologize for being late. I got stuck on a job over here. I was one of the co-chairs of Measure G. That was the third rendition of this parcel tax. I apologize for coming in a little bit late. What this is, it's a continuation. It's $138 per parcel. Seniors can opt out, 65 and older. You don't have to do it every year. Once you do it, then it continues forward. What this does is it allows for those science specialists and small class sizes. The small class sizes we have found in the elementary schools, K through 3, to have exponential gain in these kids' education going forward. So it's been really, really good. The science specialist was one of our ways of addressing the concerns of business, to get kids to be more critical thinkers and to be science-based. And to be very frank, we're the home of two dominant national laboratories. And so with the high concentration of PhDs this in our town and the focus on science, this was a way for the Livermore School District to really up the science goals in STEM for our kids, to address a lot of concerns them going forward. As a former Rotarian, I can tell you that this passes the 4-way test. If that is good news for a lot of our Rotarians in the room, and I don't know how many people are here, but it's true, it's fair, it builds good fellowship, but for the the kids and the teachers, because the parents love having the small class sizes, and it's beneficial. This thing is greatly beneficial to our kids. I think it takes 67% to win. The first 3 renditions of this, there was no written opposition. In this one, there's a small amount. There's a couple detractors, but it's some bleed over from some other stuff, some anti-mask and some things like that. And there's no real serious opposition to it. It's a completely overseen thing. As Sheila mentioned it, there's a citizens oversight committee, and that's a large committee. We receive the audits for that every year. They present, and then the auditors look at this, and there's never been any negative findings. This money goes towards the salary of teachers and science specialists, and it's very, very closely watched. It doesn't go to administrator salaries or anything like that. I hope that maybe sheds a little bit of light on it. This is a really good thing. I've watched it in action. I was, like I said, I was one of the chairs of this on 14, and that one was implemented in 15.
Great, Craig. Thank you very much. Dale, I see you've got your hand up. You've got a question?
Just a quick one. I'm a little confused about Measure G versus Measure A. The
Measure G was the previous rendition. What happens in Livermore, we get less money per kid than Dublin, Pleasanton, some of the surrounding districts. We are augmenting our budget by about $4 million a year to specifically address small class sizes. I think in our K through 3, we don't have anything more than 25 kids in the classroom, and that really helps on that foundational instruction. And also we augment the elementary schools with science specialists, and we also have some science curriculum in the middle schools and at the high schools that we use this money for. Measure G was installed the 2014 election. You voted on it, passed it overwhelmingly. It went into place in 2015, and it's sunsetting out in 7 years. It was a 7-year parcel tax. So Measure A replaces it so that we don't have a lapse. That's it. It's nothing new. It's a continuation so we can keep the services going.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. So Kathy, you've got a question.
I have one comment and one very quick question. A lot of us don't write checks anymore. Can we donate online?
Yes.
And where
Yes,
is that? On their website? Measure A.
Yes,
So I think the flyers have information on where people can donate. So
Okay. And I just want to add to what everybody here has said. I was on I think the original one that Measure D.
Yes.
And I was on the oversight committee for that. And I know how hard the committees work to make sure that the measures are being handled correctly. So I just wanted to add that.
all right.
Sir, can I add just one small thing?
Can you do it quick?
Quickly.
Quick.
I know from being a Rotarian that you guys are the most influential group, organized group in the city. Your endorsements are key. Please go to the website and endorse any personal endorsements, business endorsements, and any contributions you like. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Craig. Oh, Alan, you've got a question.
Actually, I have a comment. I think most people don't realize that Livermore gets less state funding than Pleasanton and Dublin. And this is purely a historic thing. The Livermore School District was formed even before the town was officially chartered.
Yes.
And as such, the vestigial rights are less than the rights of newer districts.
Okay. Good to know. So just to clarify, Rotary's position is we don't take a position on political things, but clearly this club supports youth in our community, right? So we thought that it was appropriate to at least make the members aware. If this is something that rocks your boat, if this is a cause that's important to you, absolutely, we want to make sure that you are aware of this, right? So thank you all for doing that. At this time, I want to acknowledge our speaker, patiently waiting in the back of the room. We're running a little long. I want to be very respectful of your time. We appreciate you coming out. Are you okay sticking around a little longer, or do you have somewhere you need to go? Or because we've got a couple more announcements here. So thank you for being patient with us. We have some folks joining us from LARPD Foundation today that want to tell us about some good stuff going on in our community. So are they're gonna come on up, come on up. Okay, so we'll come on up. So there's the mic, there's your Zoom audience.
Bill, you want to say anything before Steve gets up there? No. All right. Might not be able to get a word in. So thank you very much. I know you have had a lot of speakers. I just want to say a couple things before we start our presentation. There's a lot of passion with Rotary, a lot of passion in this room, and we're here to speak about something that I'm passionate about. But I want to say one thing. I was a Livermore Granada Boosters. Support that program. It's a great program. I invite you to do what the speaker said and is what Mike said. Also, Measure A, I was an endorser of that. My wife was on the oversight committee when it was Measure G. Love Livermore, lived here over 60 plus years. But what I'm passionate about today, first let me introduce, this is Bill Whalen. He's a trustee of the Livermore Area Recreation Park District Foundation. David Weisgerber, who's a staff member here. He's the one that does the work, we're there. We have some other people that are friendly to LARPD, former General Manager Tim Berry, as you know, Beth Wilson on the board, and former foundation trustees, Randy Schlentz, and Mike Thompson's wife, Anita Thompson. Bill Nebo was also one of the founding members. Some of you know about the foundation, some of you do not. So my purpose here today is to talk a little bit about the foundation and to tell you what we're excited about. There's a slide up there. So the foundation was founded in 1993. And I won't read anything except for this, but this is our mission, and I want you to, it's on our website, it's important to us, we're passionate about it. But we want to improve the quality of life throughout LARPD, primarily focusing on providing recreation opportunity for the underserved and enhancing parks and open space. If you go to larpd.org, you look at /foundation, you can see the webpage and a little bit of what we're more about. We're not here to speak. You've got a long, speakers already have spoken. But what we're here to talk to you about is a program that we're having that's going to support a community support program. The community support program, for lack of a better term, you could call scholarships. Even though Livermore is an affluent area, there's many people who can't afford to live the way that all of us would like to live. And so they want to take programs or different classes. Well, the community supports program allows for people to apply. They get screened, and they pay a small portion, and the remainder is made up through this program. LARPD Foundation has in the past donated, because we're meager in our financial, about $6,000 annually, which translates to about 80 people. And it does make a difference in those people's lives, dance classes and other. But let me just give you a scenario. One of the things that we know that people want to do is swim, learn how to swim. By providing the ability to learn how to swim, those people that contribute to the foundation could be saving people's lives in reality. The drowning for children ages 1 to 14 is second cause of death. So it's not just dancing, it's not just fun, it also could change your life in that way. So we're very excited about that. One other thing that we've done is during the pandemic, we were able to buy air purifiers for the child care programs, ESS, to help make them safer in there, and it was much appreciated, and now they're still functioning with those. So we're here to remind you about the foundation, to reintroduce ourselves to it, but we have an event called Wind Down in the Grove. And Wind Down in the Grove is going to be on Saturday, May 21st at the Arroyo Road entrance to Sycamore Grove. It's a wine tasting with pairing for, I don't know what you call when you drink, I don't drink, but what you eat with wine. It's, you know, chocolate and other things. It's not like a big meal, okay? But we're trying to raise about 50 grand because right now 6,000 does 70 people. We want to expand that. And we can't do it because they don't even advertise the program as much, because if you advertise something and there's not enough money, then people are like, well, why'd you even advertise it? So we're trying to take it to the next level, and you can help us. So what we're looking for today is sponsorships, donations, and also we'd like you to come to the event. It's $100. It's going to be a great event. It's 3 to 6. Again, across from Wente Cellars in the park. I don't think we've ever had alcohol in the park, and it's not going to be a big drink fest. It's going to be a pairing. We've got 6 wineries, a couple breweries, I believe, and some silent auctions. You'll have some great music. Well, I'm going to do the music because I did your 75th dinner party, whether you liked it or not. I mean, I do it for free anyway. So we have for you today, and on the screen, and we didn't hand it out because you wouldn't listen to me if you did, a flyer that talks about the event. On the other side, it talks about the foundation. Now, how many in here know how to use a QR code? Okay, better than that. How many of you don't know how you don't have to say it anyway. I'm amazed, okay, that now we just take our phones out, right? Take our phones out. We take our cameras, we hold it up to this little code, a little yellow thing pops up, which is a website. We click on it, and up comes information about the event. So it'll allow you to do it. We'll be on social media. There'll be flyers around town. If you just want to give money to LARPD Foundation, you can write a check. You can donate online through PayPal. You call me and I'll come to your house and pick it up, even if it's change. The program, if you have any questions about it, please feel free to email either Evan, or you can call me. You know how to get a hold of me. If you don't, I'm sure there's enough people around here that know. Anything else?
No, I mean, I would just want to add that, you know, I work here. I've spent my whole career in recreation. As Steve mentioned, a lot of folks have some ties to the program, and Steve and Bill both volunteer their time because we believe in the value of recreation in the community. And so that's why we're so passionate about this. That's why these guys we're meeting weekly on Zoom calls about this event, because we want it to be a huge success. We've got some great community partners, and it's going to be a really fun, unique event. And we'd love you to attend, but more than that, we want those funds to be raised so we can be able to provide these opportunities for folks that might not normally be able to get them. So that's what I would add. Thanks.
Yeah, just real quick. I've lived in Livermore since 1962. I knew a fair amount about the LARPD. I knew nothing about the foundation until I got on it. It really breaks my heart to hear the kind of numbers that Steve talked about of young people drowning. No kid should go without swim lessons. And so please help us out with this. Make sure that kids can participate in a variety of programs, not just based on.
And adults too. It's all ages. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
So I want to apologize to everybody's time. We've been running long here. We've got maybe one more announcement we got to do, but I want to cut straight to our speaker who's been so patiently waiting for us. So with no further ado, I would like to ask Ann Brown to come up. Ann's here to speak with us today about climate solutions. And Ann, I owe you another apology. I thought our President-elect Splen Splendorio was going to introduce you today. Evidently, it's Splen's birthday and he's skiing. So All right.
Those are all fantastic. All right, so how do I advance the slides?
You can ask Paul to help
Oh.
you out.
Okay, well, thank you so much for inviting me.
You're gonna need either to hold the mic or be in front of
Yes,
it. So
in front, okay. As introduced, is that close enough? I'm pretty short. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd like to walk around. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to be stuck behind that. Okay, so I'm Ann Brown. I met a number of you before, and it's so amazing the intersections of being invited today, because I have been a science teacher, and so I so appreciate that Measure A. And I've also been a Girl Scout troop leader, and I have taken my girls for the free swimming at Manison Pool, and it really makes a difference for them to learn to swim. So it's a really needed program. So thank you to all these other community leaders. But today I'm here as the group leader for Tri-Valley Citizens Climate Education. Oh, yeah, that's me. So I'm an outdoors person, as you can tell. And that is one reason I've been drawn into finding effective climate solutions, because I know that the future for our children will be different if we do not quickly reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They may not have the wonderful experiences that I've had in my youth and in my adulthood, being outdoors and enjoying the environment. So there's a really cool connection I've discovered between Rotary and Citizens Climate Lobby. And our founder, Marshall Saunders, was a Rotarian, and he brought a lot of values of Rotary into founding Citizens Climate Lobby. So we are also nonpartisan, non-political. We work on building bridges across diverse communities to work together towards effective climate solutions. We don't believe that climate should be political. It is a fact. It's what's happening in our world. So we need all of us, no matter what persuasion, to work together. So Citizens Climate Lobby there's two partner organizations, Citizens Climate Lobby and Citizens Climate Education. So first I'll talk a little bit about the lobby side. These are some of our tasks. We try to stay focused on one of the most effective climate solutions. And so we lobby congressmen, and we've been lobbying Eric Swalwell for decades, it seems. And he has finally endorsed a bill that has many of the provisions that we believe will be an effective solution. So that's been fantastic. We do these other things as well, but we need help. We're a small chapter with a handful of really active volunteers. So we could do a lot more if we get more involvement. Next. I think we're skipping some slides. Okay. So I've had the fortune to go to Washington and experience the lobbying day where over hundreds of volunteers go to every single congressional office to talk about climate solutions. But of course, with COVID, we've been on Zoom. So we have regular monthly meetings, and occasionally we have wonderful speakers. Next. Now, how do we know what to focus on? There's many climate solutions. One of our tools is the En-ROADS Climate Simulator, and I would love to come back and do a little workshop on this simulator. But basically, these sliders can all be moved according to how much you want to incentivize or tax a measure that will reduce greenhouse gases or increase them. So we have found in doing this simulation that it's a very effective tool because it is not political. It's based on science and math. And it just shows you over the thousands and thousands of calculations they've done what will be most effective. The single most effective lever is the price on carbon. Next. So we have built a bill with many other representatives and senators around how do we start a price on carbon. We're one of only 2 countries in the highly developed Western world without a price on carbon.
So basically, it's free to pollute our air and our environment. There is no recrimination. So next. We've helped craft this bill, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, and I'll just walk you quickly through a few of those features. It would very effectively and quickly reduce emissions, which is of course an immediate goal. So if business is as usual, we're kind of way up there in our emissions. We're headed towards catastrophe. But with a price on carbon, the market is going to quickly bring down our emissions as it becomes more and more expensive for fossil fuel companies to pollute our environment. And they will really kick in with innovative solutions in renewable energy. So you can see that it will help us reach our goal of net zero emissions by 2050, which is a really big lift right now. Okay, next. So here's how it works. A fee is placed on fossil fuel extraction at the source. Could be a coal mine, an oil well, a natural gas field. That fee goes through the US Treasury right back to American households as a dividend. And depending on your income level, it's going to really benefit you. And there's also a carbon border adjustment so that we can't source materials from other countries at a discount. They would pay that fee at our border. So that's the border adjustment. So these are the benefits, and I'll go through them quickly one at a time. Next. Okay, so jobs are created as we innovate to use more and more renewable energy. And I noticed that you have a program for veterans that would, they will greatly benefit from the growth in the green jobs industry. So another benefit is healthier environment. I also am on the Air Quality Community Alliance Oversight Committee, and I'm staggered by the impact of air pollution on health. And so this will definitely bring down emissions, bring down particulate matter and ozone, which are the two big health risks in our community. And families will benefit because they will be able to realize that dividend to offset any increases in energy prices, as we're seeing right now, due to a transitional period. But also they can pay for basic needs like housing and healthcare, or they can put on a solar panel, get an electric car, and otherwise reduce their carbon footprint. So the current status on carbon pricing is it's a Build Back Better bill has been passed in the House that contains some elements of that plan, but the Senate is stalled. And what we're expecting and hoping that at least some pieces of that bill will get passed in 2022 under budget reconciliation. So it doesn't look like the whole bill will pass the Senate at this point. So CCL has really responded to, that's fine, the crisis in Ukraine. And I want to share something that I read, but just look at all the contacts that we've made. We have a really effective way to communicate with people through our websites. They can send messages instantly to their elected officials. And I just want to share something that I thought was pretty interesting. This is from Farhad Manjoo of the New York Times on March 24th. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a war enabled and exacerbated by the world's insatiable appetite for fossil fuels. By accelerating our transition to clean and abundant renewable fuels, we can address two grave threats to the planet at once: the climate warming, air polluting menace of hydrocarbons and the dictators who rule their supply. And there's more good things on that article. So what we need is we need the Kickstarter to get us towards renewable energy. And we believe the carbon price is one of the most effective ways to do that. Meanwhile, we all need to be sending messages that we want to get off the fossil fuels. This crisis is in part caused by our reliance on those fossil fuels. Next. Now I'll talk about citizens climate education, which is what we call our chapter because we have a heavy focus on education. Next. So we have these actions going on. Will I educate community as I'm trying to do today with speaker events? We do outreach booths at many community events. We've hosted speakers online during Earth Week and so on. We seek to empower youth through some networking, and I'll show you some examples of that. We offer outreach and support for student clubs, especially those green teams, and teachers that would like more resources on climate. We are encouraging climate resolutions and climate action plans. I'm on the Livermore's Climate Action Plan Advisory Committee, so we participate actively in our civic plans, and we network with other organizations. So this wasn't an exactly completed slide, but that's an example of an outreach event where we're getting kids to write their feelings and thoughts and draw on what they feel about their concerns about climate. We think youth voice can start really young, and we need to keep encouraging them. We hosted a summit of teens, and Eric Swalwell came to speak to that pre-COVID. It was very successful. So we're seeking to do something like that again with the help of teen organizers. We have some great climate literacy tools. I'm presently working on curriculum at the middle school level that would include En-ROADS, as I've showed you. We have access to lots of great training for teachers and for volunteers to work with us on boosting climate literacy, not only understanding the science of climate change, but the advocacy that can happen to give youth a voice on their future. Next. So this is one slide from our climate classroom program. And you can see that the youth there are really excited to be meeting with an elected official. So this is the kind of action, what we can do at our local level is match our Livermore kids with Livermore elected officials and give them a chance to speak to those officials. So this is kind of like our lesson modules. And you can see it starts off with the kids learning about climate justice, developing their own personal story, getting that intro into En-ROADS to really see what the solutions are, and then contacting elected officials, engaging with grass tops people like you, community leaders, who can then push the lever on those elected officials, and small group action projects. So I will be speaking with some teachers here in our district about this curriculum, and maybe we'll have some teachers at least trying some of those lessons with their kids. So we also support and really complement things like our climate action plan. We're hoping that we can help students and teachers have voice to advocate for a school resolution, a district-wide resolution for climate literacy and action, which can be the umbrella for lots of discrete actions that schools can take. So here's an example. Next. Waste sorting. Okay, you may know that food waste in the landfill, I know Sheila knows this, creates methane, a greenhouse gas. One immediate action students can take is to sort their food waste from landfill. And so this is kind of a model system. Some of our schools are up to speed on this. After COVID though, many are not. So I've been trying to talk to people in different schools that I visit about how we can improve. And I think we're gonna get some seeds planted for really great systems for this fall. Next. We also strive to partner with many other organizations. I've been involved with Quest since the beginning, and we feel there's a natural affinity between learning about climate, of course, and science. I'm on the Air Quality Community Alliance. I teach for Tri-Valley Conservancy, their 4th grade youth and nature program. And my last lesson with the students is all about stewardship action projects. And those 4th graders are on fire. And I want to keep them excited and engage their parents in their action projects. Hopefully building those active youth to become leaders through middle and high school and beyond. So we have some amazing connections with Rotary. You may know that there's the ESRAG group, Rotary Action Group for Environmental Sustainability, and we are totally like in sync with the goals of ESRAG. So some of their task force are things we're working on as well, like renewable energy, food waste. Refrigerant solutions was an example of a project that could really quickly lower greenhouse gases from fluorinated gases from our refrigerants. So I think partnerships are really exciting, and I'm excited to talk to Rotary members about this. Next. So I looked up some of your projects and figured out how can we insert a climate lens on some of the things you're already doing. So for example, your teacher mini grants, International House Weekend, could feature, like for example, maybe a teacher mini grant could be for someone doing a climate project, and you can ask the teachers, when you lay that out, there will be one grant given for a climate action project. That will let teachers know that you care, and also that there could be a little funding for it. International House, you could show those students some of the renewable energy innovations happening right here in and around Livermore. The spotlights that you do on outstanding educators, students of the month, green jobs training could happen with RAVE, could all take a climate lens. So it's a way for Rotary to kind of share your value of conserving the environment with talking about this through the things you're already doing. And your Nicaragua project is a perfect example of climate justice. The poorest people in the world are suffering the most from climate emergency. And in Nicaragua, they've experienced severe flooding. And of course, heat will be a major concern for them. So that's another way to make those connections. Next. So that's my contact info. I have a couple things I wanted to show you. One is we have a little brochure that, and I put them out at the back since I didn't get them on. And another is a brochure for the Air Quality Community Alliance. So if you don't know about that yet, you're invited to pick up both. We have websites, of course, for both. And our one fundraiser is a Wild and Scenic Film Festival. We had a really great one live at the Bankhead before COVID. This year, we have a great program of 15 short films, about a 2-hour program. You can stream it on demand from home for Earth Week. So starting April 22nd through the 29th. And there's a discount code on the back. If you register through our chapter's code, you'll get $5 off a ticket. You can share this, of course, with youth, teachers, friends, etc. And we think that the films will really inspire you and delight you and inform you about some of the things going on around the world that affect our beautiful, wild, and scenic places. So that's it. I know I'm out of time.
And we want to thank you for joining us today. Rotarians, you know the drill. If you have questions on Zoom, if you could utilize the reactions button down on the bottom right-hand corner there and raise your hand. But to get started, I see Pat Coyle, you've got a question for Ann.
I do, Ann. Thank you so much for talking with us about this topic. One thing I wanted to ask your thoughts on is I noticed in Drawdown's list of the top 10, they include educating girls. Yes. And I just wondered if you could talk about how that links to climate change a bit.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I'm a huge fan of Project Drawdown. They have so many great tools, including personal tools on their website. The name's escaping me, but it's specifically about girls. What's that about is educating girls, especially in developing countries, so that once they have that, they have education, they have agency, they can go out and hopefully make a better life for themselves and their families through starting a business, through gaining a skill, perhaps going on to further training, such as being a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, an engineer, and so forth. Women and girls who have these skills have smaller families. And population is one of the big impacts on our planet right now. the sheer number of human beings. And not only do they have smaller families, they have healthier families, and they are more likely to work with their communities to promote sustainable businesses and a way of life. So one of the books that I brought today is a young African activist from Uganda, A Bigger Picture. And it's all about how, you know, she grew up in a poor rural village in Uganda and how she became a climate activist. So I've learned a lot from her perspective. So thank you for asking.
Any other questions? So Roland in the back there. And let us get you a mic so Zoomers can hear you too.
My question is, one of the things you're out is talking to a lot of people. We're on the front lines with the poor. How do you listen to the voice of the poor? I'm struggling with, we could accept higher fees, but wondering how you're getting information from the poor specific that these programs impact that you're looking at.
Okay, so you're talking about the poor? The poor in this community. Okay, so one of our big concerns is our high heat temperature days that science is showing are going to become more frequent and more severe. And if they do not have access to air conditioning, then they are at risk. I remember seeing a woman sitting near downtown Pleasanton, really red in the face, kind of panting on one of those high temperature days. And it was like, oh my God, here's someone right here experiencing one of my main concerns. So I asked her if she needed water, et cetera, et cetera. But that is a huge concern, is the impact of our high temperature days. Poor air quality, of course, affects our poor. The air quality near the freeway, of course, is worse with all the diesel particulate matter. So all of the homeless that are in the Las Positas Arroyo that are living there are at high risk. So we believe that together we can work to lessen these impacts. And in our climate action plan, we have adaptation, like how do we adapt to these high temperature days by providing cooling centers. Hopefully we're in one here, but also by mitigating, by lowering our greenhouse gas emissions.
So I'm asking how you're getting their input into the greater bill, saying let's do carbon offsets, all these costs that will rise their costs. And a small issue of, I know all the people, anyway, but I'm just talking about very specifically, their costs are very real today. You're talking about in the future.
Right, so that's one reason the carbon pricing really works fast, is that by starting to put a tax that's going to rise with every year on fossil fuel extraction, we're going to start getting money through that fee to go right out as dividends to those lower income middle. It actually goes to everybody, but it especially benefits 95% of lower and middle income households. So that was our equity answer, is give them money, give them that they can spend however they want, but we expect that a lot of them will spend it on changing energy prices. Now, as for our immediate gas price cost, you may know that Governor Newsom has proposed a rebate to drivers. So I'm not sure exactly how that would work. I know I don't need one because I don't drive that much. I work out of my house. I just go around the Tri-Valley. I don't want one. I want to incentivize more people to drive less and use other modes of transportation, but I don't need that for my living. So I get it that people that have to drive for a living are really feeling it right now. So we're in a very unusual time, and I don't have all the answers. I just know that generally our trend needs to go towards lowering our greenhouse gases, or we're going to live in a very different world.
Any other questions for Ann? Anybody out on Zoom? Don't see any hands up on Zoom. Ann, thank you for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So I want to thank everybody for coming today. I know we ran a little long. Before we leave, just want to remind everybody about our program next week, which is mini grants, right? Mini grants. So everybody, one of our favorite meetings of the week or of the year next week. And Marianne, did you want to give an update on the foundation grants too? Okay, we'll get you next week. We'll get you next week then. Thank you. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for your patience. Apologize for running long today, but lots of good stuff happening in our community. Lots of ways people can help. A lot of this stuff seemed to align with values of Rotarians. So appreciate everybody taking time to spend with us today. So, and with that, I will shut up.